This is a video about my personal experience with bullying. I personally experienced bullying at every stage of my life. Firstly at school, then in the family, and then subsequently at work. And one of the fundamental ways that bully targets someone is that they try to identify a weakness in that person that they can exploit. And what they do is, once they identify that weakness, they basically use it against that person. So, obviously, bullying comes in different forms, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, and it can be from relatives or non-relatives. And I've found that some of the most effective ways to deal with bullying is to develop coping strategies. One of them is the first one, and I think the most effective, is to basically scare off the bully, so that deters them from doing it again. Because once somebody inflicts pain on a person, they don't, 9 times out of 10, they don't want to go through that pain again. So if the bully is hurt, you're most likely gonna defeat him. A more softer approach is not to let the bully get to you mentally. So if insults can be like water in a sponge, and it just get absorbed. And over time, if you take them literally serious, it can have a detrimental impact on you. You start to feel insecure about yourself, unsure. You even start to maybe doubt that you're a good person, and that you deserve to be bullied, because otherwise that person would just leave you alone. And another thing is that might make you insecure, and subsequently make you withdraw from other people. So you isolate yourself, and unfortunately, when that happens, the bullying doesn't get better. It usually gets worse, because most bullies, unfortunately, they are very mean-spirited. They want to see that person basically suffering and withdrawn and isolated, so that they can target them more and more. It's a form of domination over somebody, and that makes them feel empowered. It makes them feel better about themselves. But I find that if you don't let them get under your skin, if you tell them to just jog on, and you're not interested, that you don't care about what they think of you, that you have no time for them, then maybe the fact that they perceive you as not being interested or caring about what they think about you might deter them, or eventually, and might stop them from trying to bully you, because they know it doesn't work. You don't care. You're too strong within yourself to care about what they have to say about you. And that is one of the most effective ways of dealing with them, is not to make them impact your confidence, your self-esteem, and ultimately your belief in yourself. And obviously, if it becomes to the point where you feel threatened, you feel unsafe, you either report them to someone in higher authority, whether it's a teacher, or somebody higher up the hierarchy in work, or alternatively, you have to consider leaving that environment, because if it makes you just mentally distressed, depressed, that is a red flag. And also, if you feel unsafe, that is another red flag. It's basically, it gets to a point where you basically have to consider leaving that environment, so you don't see that person in that environment where he thrives in bullying you. And I found that these are the true strategies that I mentioned are probably the most effective ways of dealing with them. But let me know your experience of bullying, how you dealt with it, what was the outcome, and ultimately, how did the bullying stop, if it ever did, or how it impacted you if it didn't. I'll be looking out for the comments.